I know some of you have done this already, but here it is one more time. Okay? So this particular graph actually shows me exact coordinates, these 3 points. You don't have to put them in a certain order as long as you keep them together. So I make a table with the x and the y's. Part of showing your work is to tell me that you're entering that into your calculator. Okay. And then I will just do this for, this is good enough, stat, calc, quadratic regression. And then you're going to come up with your equation. So table, keystrokes, equation. That's all you need to show on your AC test quiz exam. Okay? So you grab your calculator. Let's see here real quick. What is the reminder for my study sheet? Turn on plot 1. That way we can use zoom stat and it shows the points. That's just a reminder. It is already on my calculator. Then I'm going to go stat, edit, enter, and then X goes into L1, Y goes into L2. Regardless of what the table looks like, the first thing is X, the second is Y. If it's a horizontal table, the first is X, the second one is Y. Okay? So let's do that. Stat, edit. I go to the top, I hit clear. I hit clear. You know what? This just reminds me of, maybe I will ask you to add this to your study sheet. Whenever you get to it, I'll just do this here real quick. Deleted a column. Okay? No worries. Just go stat. And you go setup, editor. And then enter. Okay, so that's just a little reminder. If you ever delete a column, just go stat, setup, editor, enter. It'll fix everything for you. Even if you had a bunch of stuff in there, it'll bring it back. It's like an undo button. Okay, so let's go back. Stat, edit, L1, -4. Make sure you use negative, don't use minus. Okay, use negative. And then here, you go 0, -14, 0. What's the next on my study sheet here? Next up is stat, calc, quadratic regression, right? And then I go on further to say, once I see quadratic regression, I'm going to call L1, comma, L2, comma, Y1. And I tell myself which buttons to press. Okay? So let's do that. Stat, calc, quadratic regression. And here you go. Alpha trace. Why is it so, it's always glary here. So second number 1, comma, second number 2, comma, alpha trace, you select Y1. That's what you should see on your calculator. You hit enter. You copy these ones down. These are your coefficients. And so you need to make sure with sign and all to write it down, right? So it'd be 0.5 x squared minus 1.5 x minus 14. Does the minus 14 make sense in our situation? What does that always represent? It represents my y-intercept. So it actually is to confirm that you're doing something right. Okay? So that's important. Yes, Ranveer, question?
How do you do comma again?
There's a comma button underneath sign. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have that.
Got it? Okay, but so for today's AC, that is going to be the most important thing, to just come up with the equation, but we also want to be able to see it when we graph it. So I will hit graph at this point. And it's not doing a very good job. Sorry about the red line. I'm going to get rid of that one. You shouldn't have that. Oh, by the way, if you press y equals, you should have that equation pasted in there. And look at how many decimals it uses. It's trying to be really, really accurate, right? So if you scroll to the side, you're going to see a lot of decimals, but that's fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and graph this. My graph is not good at all. Listen carefully. If you want to use zoom stat, you gotta make sure that plot 1 is highlighted. You hit enter when you're on plot 1. You go all the way up arrow. That allows you to use the zoom feature, which is zoom stat. If you want to use zoom stat, plot 1 has to be turned on. So I'm going to try it. And so it will show you, zoom stat will zoom into the points you've entered into L1 and L2. I will warn you already, it's not going to solve all of your problems. Sometimes, this is why, listen carefully. Let's say the 3 points were really close to each other here. It would just zoom into that stretch right there, and it will almost look like a straight line. So it's not always going to be a solution to everything. What do I do instead, Mr. Dirksen? What should I do to fix that? You may adjust your window, customize it, chase the curve yourselves, or you may use, you can still use Zoom Standard anytime, or you can use Zoom Fit, right? So any of those will work for you, but if you want to use Zoom Stat, plot 1 must be turned on. Okay, so I'll try Zoom Fit. Still basically stayed the same. It didn't make any changes there. So just to keep that in mind. Can we now, could we find the x-intercepts? I mean, I already have them, so it's not beneficial to me. Can we find the vertex of this? Because I don't have the vertex, right? The vertex is right there on my graph. So let's go ahead and find it. That's going to be part of today's activity, okay? So let's go find the vertex. You go second, trace, minimum. You have to go to the left of it. You know what? I'm kind of on the edge here. It might not allow me to find it because I can't see it fully. Let's try it. Enter. You go to the right. Enter. Enter one more time. It did allow me to find it. So if it finds it, no problem. Don't adjust your window. But technically, we should have reduced the Y-min a little bit. So like, let's say -20 to make sure you see everything properly. Okay. So just, I'm letting you know that sometimes when you don't see it fully, the calculator complains. It says I can't find it because it's not quite visible completely. Okay. So once we have the equation, once we have this, you can find anything I ask you for, okay? So that's how you do one of these. Perhaps I will use this opportunity. Let's go to B right next door. This one right here. I'm going to zoom into that. Now, how many points are you given? 2. Is that enough? It's not enough. The quadratic needs at least 3. Is there something we can do to find a third one without guessing? I don't want you to guess, okay? Do you remember the axis of symmetry? The axis of what? Okay. The axis of symmetry is the line that cuts this in half. So if you wouldn't mind, draw your line that cuts this thing in half. It goes through the vertex. Yes?
I was going to say just find the x-intercept.
Find the x-intercepts? But do we know them exactly? We have to guess, right? So pay attention to this part. I'm going to use a different color for this, or you just use your pencils, no problem. But how far do I go from here? This is the y-intercept, right? How far is it from here to the center? How much have I traveled this way? let's go up here. From here to here, how many units have I traveled sideways? 2.477, right? 2.477. So guess what? How many units will I travel from the center out to the other leg? 2.477. So basically what I've done here is I was like, oh, I'm on the y-axis here. I got to travel to the center. How far is this? I basically tried to do the same thing here. From the y-axis to the center, it's 2.477 units. So it must be another 2.477 to get to here. And what is 2.477 and 2.477? I even need a calculator for that one. Too early in the morning. Okay. 4.954. Why 3 decimals? Because the question gave me 3 decimals, so I'm going to stick to it. And what is the y value here? We actually know this exactly. If this is -1, oh, 0, -3, sorry. This is -3, so we would be at -3 here also. So what are my 3 points here? We can 0, -3, 2.477, 16.814, and this one that I just found. And now I have everything I need to find the equation. I'm going to highlight this one. I'm going to highlight this one. I'm going to highlight that one. That is where everything was hinging on, is finding that third point. Okay. I will make a note here at the bottom of this. Note, found third point using the axis of symmetry. Okay?